My name is Kevin Weir. I'm a faculty member actually at CSU Sacramento, but I'm chair of the bargaining team for CFA. And I'm here because I want Chancellor White to hear the message that 2 is tiny. It barely keeps up with inflation, let alone giving us some salary recovery that really faculty have been suffering for without a significant raise for 8 years. And if you actually look over the last 10 years, we've lost purchasing power against inflation by about $9,000. So 2% just won't do.
Well, California has a budget surplus of billions. What's the problem with having a salary increase to keep up with inflation?
Well, you're exactly right. Not only was the CSU's augmentation up this year by an extra $100 million over what the governor initially proposed, but the CSU system also has $2 billion in reserves, in unrestricted net assets. So they have plenty of money. It's an affordable proposal. We want 5%. It's an affordable proposal. It's comparable to what our peers are getting, and it's certainly fair.
And how far have you fallen behind? I mean, you've had concessions or givebacks for years. What's the real state of faculty and staff at CSU?
Well, the average faculty member over the last 10 years has lost about $9,000 in purchasing power against inflation. So the real context in terms of real dollars for people's take-home pay is, I actually earn less now in real dollars than when I started in the CSU in 2003.
And how do staff feel about the strike, the possibility of a strike? I mean, you're preparing for one. Are you appealing to other unions, or what can people do who want to support you?
Yeah, we're getting a lot of support from students and from our brothers and sisters in other unions. Most of them can't actually strike themselves for legal reasons, but they're going to be joining us on the picket line before their work starts, on their lunch hours, etc. And we're asking folks from the community to come out and join us on the picket line. It's going to be a bit of a carnival. It's serious, of course, but also a bit of a carnival, and we're going to try and have some fun while we're also sending a powerful message.
There seems to be a movement of young people in this country for free public education. Is the union taking that up in your negotiations with the management?
We are not actually allowed to negotiate over tuition, but we certainly have been in support of our students for forever. And we believe not only in no tuition increases, we actually think tuition should be rolled back. And we absolutely stand on the side of our students who are demanding a free college education, and that is part of a national conversation that's happening right now.
And it's been raised, the management, there's new managers, the salaries of the managers. Where's the money going? Is it going into privatization or outsourcing? Is that a problem and concern for you?
It is. There's a lot of corporatization in the university. If they have $2 billion in unrestricted net assets reserves, then that's putting them on a par of a very nice profitable corporation. They pay their managers very well. Chancellor White makes more money than Obama. It's just not right.
How much money does he make?
He makes about $450,000 a year when you include his car allowance and his house allowance. He makes about $400,000 a year in just dollars.
And the salaries has fallen, management makes more money. What's going on here?
Well, it's just a matter of misplaced priorities. They certainly have the money to give us the raises, but they have a history of not supporting direct instruction, which of course is the core mission of the CSU. So they really need to adequately fund instruction, and that means paying professors what they're worth, and that means supporting instruction so that we can offer our students the highest quality. Really what we're talking about here is lowballing of half of the faculty who are working on a temporary contract basis. They don't have real academic freedom. They don't have real job security, and they have to fly from campus to campus. They spend more time on the freeway than they do in the classroom. On the other side, the other half of the faculty, the tenure line faculty, we have trouble recruiting and retaining faculty because of the low salaries, especially in high housing markets like the Bay Area. It's almost impossible to buy a house on a faculty salary these days, and it used to be a solid middle class income, and it's just not anymore.
Okay, thank you. What's your name again?
Kevin Weir, W-E-H-R.
Thank you.
Yeah, thanks.
Chancellor White.
See the light. Help me tight. 5 is right. Chancellor White. See the light.
Karen. So basically what's happening is for people who are theater majors and just people generally who enjoy dance, enjoy the theater arts, they're cutting them because they're thinking that probably it's insignificant that there's mostly a lot of business majors and a lot of health science and nurse majors, but theater, they're thinking, okay, maybe that's just for fun, like an extracurricular. At least I see that's how they're seeing it in their eyes of them. But for me, it really helped boost my confidence a lot and continue my education, so I'm excited. I'm a theater arts major.
My name is Sade, and I'm a sociology major, dance minor, and I'm here because I want to support the faculty, and hopefully they don't cut our dance program as well, because they've been trying to do that.
What's going on? There's so much money in California, the Bay Area, billionaires. Why are they attacking your dance program?
They don't value dance. They think that it's not important, and they always cut the programs that aren't important, like the ethnic studies and the dance programs first. I don't know why. That's why we're here. We want to ask them that.
CFA statewide president, the great Jen Egan is here.
Hey everyone, thank you so much for coming out. Nothing says I really want to engage with faculty and students than coming to visit late on a Monday afternoon. But thank you for showing up.
Woo! Woo! Yeah!
So does everyone have their questions ready for Chancellor White?
All right.
Yeah. Like, why are they cutting dance at Cal State Eastbay when the legislature gave them $97 million more dollars?
Exactly.
Why are they trying to cut ethnic studies at San Francisco State? And why are they trying to lowball faculty and push us to the brink of strike? Those are some of my questions. But I would like to hear you all's questions inside. Please, Chancellor White, I'm sure he would describe himself as the CEO of the CSU.
Oh.
I bet he would. Boo. So, but that means, right, the buck stops with him. He is responsible for what happens on each and every campus. He is responsible for the fact that 60% of your faculty are on temporary and part-time contracts. Do you think that's fair to you? No. That's right. He is responsible for lowballing the salaries of faculty while he jacks up your fees.
Whoa!
All right, so when we go in there, I hope you ask great questions, have a great time. I think there's going to be some more dancing later. That's what I heard. I'm excited about it.
Going in right with you.
Hey, how you doing? All right, you take care of yourself. All right. Yes, Baham, B-A-H-A-M, like Bahamas, but without the A-S. Yes, sir.
So this is Chancellor White's third or fourth visit to the campus, and I'm very pleased.
My name is Shada Akbarian, and I'm a member of the Ethnic Studies Department. I teach for the Ethnic Studies Department. I'm an adjunct faculty member, and I'm very proud to be a part of that department. I'm also proud of the students that I have here that I see supporting this. I appreciate each and every one of you. I'm also a very proud member of CFA. So shout out to CFA. Okay, so I was thinking, where do I start with this question? But I figured I would kind of organically let it roll out. I actually, when I first started here at the university, I've been disappointed more than a handful of times. I just recently had my mom pass away, and I couldn't even afford to contribute to her funeral. So the pay right now, and it's been like this since day one, I have not had any kind of decent income that is in any shape or form reflective of the work that I do here. I work very hard, I come here for the students, and I definitely am very passionate about what I do, and I stand up and talk about injustice in ethnic studies, so it would be ridiculous of me not to stand up here and speak about the injustice with respect to the income that I get. I don't have health insurance, so if I get sick, then I don't have health insurance, so if I'm sick, I don't have an outlet for that. I don't get paid enough to even go and see a doctor because I don't have health insurance. I have a handful of issues in terms of just supporting myself with the basic needs that I need, necessities. And most importantly, I hear constantly about how important faculty is. You've been talking about that. And I have not seen anything that demonstrates any sort of support for, us being able to sustain like an effective condition in terms of the classroom and also our personal life, just meeting basic needs. And I have a handful of other things that I want to bring up, but I feel like my main question is, how is it that you let this happen where, we're over here hustling and we're not getting the pay that we deserve? And it's especially disappointing that I have to put my student loans on, deferment constantly because I can't pay it. And that right there is disturbing. I go for school, I work hard in my graduate program, and now that I'm out, I can't even pay my loans. So I'm asking you, what is it, why is it that I have to face this kind of condition? I come in here working hard every day, and I'm not being appreciated, and in fact, I feel quite exploited. So I would like to hear your response to that.
So first, let me, having lost my mom, first start right there. Say I'm sorry I lost your mom. It's a tough thing for us to go through. Moms are very special in all our lives, so just wanted to acknowledge and put that one on the table. Secondly, it sounds, I don't know your background. I don't know what your employment is. It sounds like if you don't have health insurance that you are a part-time employee of the university. And there are many people in your role, and I hear the stories. People are good to share those with me electronically and when we have meetings in Long Beach. And to be honest, I feel very poorly when I hear of the kinds of stories not being able to make ends meet. Decisions about who are full-time and part-time become decisions of the campus, not anything in my shop. I don't hire faculty on the campuses. I don't. And so actually one of the things that would be helpful for me is if people would like to ask questions, I'm very happy to listen to them, but I'd only ask that I get a chance to answer them without further comments. I find that to be distracting, and I may lose track of her question, so it's really out of respect to her more than me. So I don't understand why you're in the situation you are in, because I don't know what your appointment is. But I do acknowledge that you're struggling financially to pay off, to live, to take care of it. I want to commend you for your commitment to the students. And I would hope that over time, the campuses that are looking at their hiring can make faculty like you to be full-time. But again, those are decisions you don't want to be made in the chancellor's office. You want those decisions to be made in your department, in your college, and in your university. With respect to what the compensation is, when I came into the university 3 years ago, it was at the end of a very difficult time. And I don't know if you were a faculty member there, if you were still in grad school at the time. But one of the very first things I did was to take a look at what would be reasonable for us, possible for us in the political world we live, to try and reverse what happened during the recession. And it was a 4-year slide for the CSU, this campus. I happened to be in the University of California at the time, and it was a horrible time for universities, losing 1/3 of the state budget, $1 billion with a beat during that 4-year period. So what I thought was the right way forward was to reverse that direction. I'm the chancellor who released the equity program that had gotten frozen during the recession. I was the chancellor who started Equity 2 program to try and deal with some of the inversions and compressions that happened in the system. We did pay raises in my first year and my second year, and proposed them for the third and fourth years for the faculty and all the other employees. And all the employees except the CFA have accepted the 4-year plan. So now we're in a conversation, as you all know, about the third year of this 4-year plan with the CFA. And so I'm hopeful that we can find a solution. We're still at the bargaining table. We've just gone through fact-finding. We just submitted our briefs, so that process is going. But the final thing I would say is, we have to live within our means as a university.
That's not an answer for me. I feel like you're beating around the bush. You're not even answering my question. My question is, why is it that I have to struggle? Okay, I put in so much work here. I taught 4 classes last quarter, and I was getting paid poverty line. That's how much I'm getting paid. So I'm saying, why is it that I have to face that? Why am I not getting the pay that I deserve? Because you guys need us. that's going on this campus, right? So I'm not understanding this.
Well, you're not understanding, and I don't understand your personal circumstance, so I can't answer your question. So you're part-time, so you have a part-time compensation. If you were full-time, you'd have more money and you'd have benefits. That's a departmental decision. It's not my decision.
Departmental decision? I think you have a lot to do with that. I think you have a significant role when it comes to that. I don't think that that's a departmental decision.
I just happen to know that the way it works is different than that, but I appreciate your point of view. Mike, can we move to this?
My question is that when fabricating the sustainability model, how were transfer students and dreamer students incorporated into this if it's going to increase tuition 2% every year and these students are barely affording to get into higher education, and the California master plans grants access, full access to higher education, and so are these students now not even a part of, you know, the fabrics of this model?
Thank you for the question. Absolutely a vital question. So again, probably before, are you a student here or a what?
Yes, I am. I'm also a transfer student of migrant parents. Thank you.
Great, great. So
Chancellor White, I'm not just a student here at the CSU system, I'm a child of it. My mother has been a professor in the CSU system for the past 20 years. And during that time, her wages have stagnated, student tuition has gone skyrocketed, and top administrator salaries like those of yourself have all skyrocketed as well.
Yes!
I want to ask you one simple question. How do you justify this?
and this being your mom's 20-year, I actually lost track of it.
Your rise in pay!
My pay?
Your rise in pay, our hikes in tuition for less services, less classes, less accessibility.
So let me just say a couple things, okay? And I'm very acknowledging and understand your concern and your mom's concern. I really do. When I came into the system, I was offered one salary, and I asked for a 10% reduction.
Charitable of you.
Pardon me?
Charitable of you. Thank you.
Yeah, well, at least at that time, people thought that was a statement in the right direction. And people today want to be critical of me. I just want to look at the fact, you know. Secondly, is the question earlier from the woman who is a transfer student and without documentation, is the reason that tuition skyrocketed isn't because of the chancellor or the president. It's because of the elected officials in Sacramento who have decreased our funding as a percentage of our operating budget over the last 25, 27 years.
And so you're saying that there's no correlation between our tuition hikes and increased administrator salaries?
That's correct. Now, if you want to do a correlation, did one go up and one go down? Or both go up? But if you're trying to say that your tuition has gone up only because of salaries for...
No, I'm not saying that. And anybody who knows what a correlation is knows that. So I'm just asking you why this is the case. Why are these the policies that are being taken?
Because the state of California, for the University of California and for the California State University, have disinvested in these two institutions over the last almost 3 decades. The disinvestment gets accelerated during a recession, which we had at the end of the last decade. You have 3 choices as an organization when that happens. You get smaller, When you get smaller, it means fewer staff, fewer faculty, fewer students, and fewer courses. Or you lower quality so that there's no value to the degree. Or you raise revenues, or some combination of those three things.
Well, it says,
So-
here, or from the CFA, that despite the 216.5 million of increased investment in the CSU by the state last year, CSU management returned to the bargaining table with the same 2% offer that faculty had rejected. So why is that?
That's a fair question, and I'm glad you got the prompt.
Hi, my name is Karen Adams, and I'm with the dance department and sociology department here on campus. Yeah, who's a fan of the dance department? Let's get a little props for all the people in red today. I really wanted to take this opportunity to also talk to you all. Thank you all for coming, because I've heard redundancy at the stage. So I more wanted to thank everyone for coming, and I wanted to acknowledge that the capacity in this room is 343. It was cut at 200, so if you didn't want interruptions and the banging on the doors, we could have just let the students in that go to this campus. I'm appalled that approaching the back, that I was aggressively approached by an officer when I was just walking back. This is not a police station. This is not a fucking prison. This is school, and I paid a fee. It's disgusting. And I wanted to come up here and give this pleasant story about my traumatic life and why I dance, but you have not earned that from me. I'm not giving you my story because you do not deserve to hear it. And I want to know, with the recent cuts to the dance department and what I'm scared will happen to the rest of the arts, what are you going to do to protect the arts, specifically on this campus, specifically dance?
So specifically, you do not want the Chancellor's office telling a group of faculty what academic programs that they want on their campus.
Not faculty. Students. Not students.
Well, she asked me a question, I gave her my answer. So I don't know the details on this campus or other campus.
But that's your job, right?
No,
You should know the details.
No, not my job to know the details at the programmatic level. My goodness, folks. It's not my job to know that level of details, because I think they're nuanced. I think the nuances of what happens at Eastbay should be the Eastbay community's conversation and decision making. Because what happens here is because those black documentation bringers are not in any way turned away.
Hello, my name is Patricia Jennings, and I'm chair of sociology. And I just have a couple of observations I want to make and tell you a little bit about my experience as chair. So with these stagnant salaries, so what we've seen are stagnant hires, stagnant salaries, and a rise in the number of students. So for large departments and for departments that even do a lot of GE, it's becoming unsustainable. So we have, in our department, for instance, and this isn't just our story, we have 7 faculty for 600 students, regular faculty. We've had 3 searches, fabulous, and we're very grateful for those searches, but those searches are not, there's no net growth. We're down by 1 because of retirement. So even with the money set aside for hires, there's no net growth. With the stagnant salaries, when we do get lucky enough to get a search, we lose people to lower cost of living states with higher wages. I have difficulty finding part-time people because I can't pay them enough. So a lecturer B with a PhD, I can't pay them enough to sustain a lifestyle in the Bay Area. So we're overburdened. I also want to note that I feel like I'm in Oz when I hear this discourse of quality. When you pull back that curtain, what I see is a lot of slippage because we have rising course caps, we have rising course caps, class caps. So where we used to have, I'm an alum. When I went to San Francisco State, fabulous education. I was competitive. All our faculty owned homes. Now we have new faculty barely able to afford a studio. So, you know, I don't own a home, and I've been in the system 15 years, but I'm on a single income. So it's really going to affect, one, diversity. We are having difficulty with that. If diverse faculty get offers from higher colleges that pay more, there they go, right? So that's an issue. The wages are an issue. But quality is an issue. If we keep we need to stop just putting that spin out there and do something to back it up. We can't have high quality we have increased issues around remediation, growth in students, and a leveling of faculty and faculty wages. Faculty are disheartened. I worry about, you know, stress. I watch faculty in our department being incredibly stressed out, trying to live up to their human capital, but all we're doing is spinning our wheels trying to get through grading 150 students' papers every quarter. And I want to just end on this comment. I'm really a little offended with the tighten our belt slogans that have been going around. Yes, everyone, I understand the budget. In our department, we did a survey on Prop 13. We know the budget. But I also know that there are increasing layers of bureaucracy in the CSU system. And I also know that there's increasing hires. If you look at the CFA report and look at faculty stagnation, while more and more administrative positions, some I agree could be essential, but some are non-essential. And then top-down initiatives that waste millions of dollars. Campus-based, so you may not have control over that, but you do supervise your presidents. So on campuses where millions of dollars are flying out the door with initiatives that don't really implement change, like on this campus just a year or so ago, that's a problem. And so I want to look at prioritizing from the top down. We have been prioritizing at the faculty level. Thank you.
Thank you, everybody. I'm sorry that we're out of time. Thank you for all your questions.
Bullshit I've been hearing for the last 20 years, and the same kind of bullshit that has been ruining this whole country for the last, you know, since neoliberalism got implemented. So, you know, they're trying to run the CSU system and the UC system, and pretty much every university, it's happening globally. They're trying to run them like corporations, and they're trying to hollow out the power that faculty and students have, and they're trying to, and they've been increasing the administrative wages, increasing the bureaucracy in this that has very little to do with teaching students, and this is all part of the way that democracy is being hollowed out around the world. And I think it's pretty fucking obvious at this point.
What's your name?
My name's Abner.
And the union is talking about a strike. Do you support the strike?
I support the strike fully. My mother is a CSU professor, and she is going to be partaking in the strike.
Okay. What do you think about the fact California has billions of dollars of surplus in the budget? All these billionaires in the Bay Area, and they're saying that they don't have enough money for free public education?
California is the 13th largest economy in the world. The CSU system is one of the largest education systems in the world. How they can't find the money to pay a living wages to staff and to teachers and to make college affordable for average people there's no rational explanation for it. There is no justification. And our dear Chancellor said, of course he couldn't give a justification for it, because there is none.
Strike! Strike!